What's up, my comic comrades? If you've been watching the channel for any reasonable amount of time, you know that the Batman is my favorite character of all time. So anytime a significant book comes out with him, I'm all over it like Grogu on frog eggs. So today we're taking a look at the brand new Batman the Detective 6-issue miniseries, written by comics superstar Tom Taylor and drawn by comics legend Andy Kubert. We're going to be breaking down the first 2 issues of the series, which follows Batman investigating a series of murders taking place in England. That's right, Batman is leaving Gotham and the Batcave forever, as he puts it. That's not even clickbait, he literally says that in the comic, but we'll get into that in a second. But before we dive in, we want to thank Displate for sponsoring today's episode. Displate is the leading marketplace for amazing high-quality metal posters created by a community of some of the most talented artists from around the world. I'm talking about unique posters from DC, Marvel, Star Wars, The Mandalorian, Lord of the Rings, anime, gaming, and a crap ton more. Altogether, Displate features over 1.4 million pieces of art for you to customize, build your own collections, and arrange however you want. But on top of the incredible quality of the metal posters, another uniquely cool thing about Displate is the ability to hang and rearrange your posters in seconds. And it's all due to their insanely easy to install magnetic wall mount system. Every Displate metal poster comes with a mounting guide, sticker, and magnets. As a matter of fact, they sent us a couple of dope pieces for us to show you as an example. I'm gonna let you guys guess which was my favorite. Anyway, you just line your disc plates up where you want to hang them, apply the magnets to the wall where instructed on the guide sticker, and mount your poster. It literally takes seconds and you don't need a single nail, screw, or tool. It's glorious. You can also choose from 3 different sizes, medium, large, or extra large. Select a matte or gloss finish, and even pick from multiple frame options. All of which allows you to build fully customized collections of your favorite designs right on your wall. Just click the link in our description and start assembling your collection. And as a member of the Variant Nation, you'll get 25% off your order of 1 to 2 disc plates and 33% off 3 or more disc plates. But you want to get on that now because that discount is only good until June 4th. We're big fans of disc plate over here at Planet Variant, and you'll actually see many of our disc plates hanging on the Variant podcast set when we return to the studio in the next couple of weeks. And speaking of Planet, Displate also partners with Trees for the Future to plant 1 tree in the places that need the most for every Displate poster you buy. So you can build a dope art collection and help make Earth a little more green at the same time. Sounds good to me. So again, click the link in the description below to check out some of our favorite collections, and then start building your own. You'll also get that great discount I mentioned until June 4th, which will be applied once you add your selections to your cart. Make sure to let us know which designs are your favorite in the comment section as well. But now, my comic comrades, it's time to find out why Batman is leaving the Batcave behind for good in Batman the Detective. Issue 1 starts off with the Wayne Airlines plane flying from Gotham to London as we see a flight attendant counting all the passengers. She then tells someone over her comms, 147 passengers, all accounted for. The person in her earpiece replies, "Copy, in 10, 9, 8. The flight attendant then proceeds to put on a parachute, telling everyone on board, "I want you all to know this isn't your fault. It's his." As the person in her ear keeps counting down while she puts on a white Batman cowl, saying, "This is because of Batman." On the next page, we see an explosion happen in the front of the plane. We then see another flight attendant put on a white Batman cowl saying, "Time to go, Tristessa." Open the door, but before they could jump out of the plane with parachutes, they're attacked by Beryl Hutchins, aka the Current Knight, formerly the Squire. For those of you who don't know, the Knight and the Squire are prominent superheroes of the United Kingdom in the DC universe. Anyway, Hutchinson, aka the Knight, continues to beat the crap out of both of these terrorists, but they're able to grab her and pull her out of the plane. But Knight ain't no rookie. She's able to knock one of them out midair, grabbing his body, then pulling his chute for her to land safely on the ground, or at least somewhat safely. But when she lands, Tristessa, the other flight attendant, shoots her while saying it's about equilibrium. And then on the next page, we see the plane crash. Then sometime after that, next to the wreckage, we see someone wrote Batman 147 on the nearby building, alluding to how many lives were lost in the crash and that it's Batman's fault. Elsewhere in the Batcave, we see Bruce brooding, talking to himself, saying the pain doesn't fade like it used to. The muscles, the scars, the memories, the ache, just under the skin. A lifetime spent fighting, an oath, a crusade. And the question is, what difference have I made? We then see he's saying this to himself as he's looking at the crash site in England that says Batman 147. Bruce continues to say to himself, the only real difference I've made is the people I've helped directly. The people who wouldn't be here without my intervention. I've stopped the ripples of pain that would have been spread by those lives being lost. Is my city safe? No. But have I stopped crime? No. Have I made Gotham a better place for those I love? No. Alfred is gone, my family is no longer here. So why am I? Far away from the city, a plane has gone down. So many people murdered. A crime scene with my name on it. And as he takes the elevator out of the Batcave into Wayne Manor, he continues to say, what's keeping me here? There's no future. There's only memories. The Manor, the excess, it's too big for me. There's no reason to stay in this house, in this city. I'm being pulled away. And I can't think of any reason to come back. It's time for the Bat to leave the cave. forever, as he takes his suitcases walking out of Wayne Manor and leaves to Lancashire. See, I told you this wasn't clickbait. Bruce literally says it's time to leave the Batcave forever, as he takes his suitcases and leaves Gotham and Wayne Manor behind. Now, is this going to be permanent? Bruce and Batman really leaving Gotham forever? Probably not, but Bruce said it, so let's see where this journey takes us. On the next page, we see Batman has made his way to the crash site in Lancashire, where of course he starts investigating the crime scene. And as he's doing so, he starts talking to someone saying, I called in a lot of favors from MI6 and Interpol to have this scene cleared. It wasn't easy. Rather than risk the contamination of the crime scene, I prefer you were beside me. I take it you're the new Squire? A voice then off screen says, yeah. She asks, how did you know I was here? Batman just looks at her, and Squire replies, oh right, you're Batman. Of course. Batman then asks Squire if Knight is out of the operating theater. Is she conscious? Squire says, you could go see her. Batman tells her, I intend to. I have questions. Squire then replies, I meant to see how she is. But sure. Batman continues scanning the scene with his tech, looking for anything he could find. Footprints, fibers, fingerprints, hair, DNA, anything and everything. As he's doing this, he pulls out gloves and starts putting them on. Squire then asks, what are the gloves for? He tells her the gloves are because the temperature has been dropping in unnatural increments from the moment I arrived. She's like, oh, so you're just cold? He answers, no, Squire, I want you to walk toward me, and whatever you do, don't turn around. As we see on the next page, a gigantic demon-looking Gentleman Ghost. Gentleman Ghost then proceeds to punch Batman through the chest, with Batman saying, you've changed, Gentleman Ghost, and he replies, I have. Gentleman Ghost then tells Batman why he's here, saying, I'm feeding on fear. 146 people died here in absolute horror, but I enjoy my fear fresh as well. You're not scared of death, but I could feel what you're afraid of. You fear failing others. You dread being close to them because you fear losing them. Ah, there it is. Not many men have been orphaned twice, referring to obviously his parents' death, but also Alfred's. Batman, pissed off, just pulls Gentleman Ghost's hands out of his chest, saying, no, get your damn hand off of my heart, as he punches him in the face, which greatly weakens Gentleman Ghost. And we learn via inner monologue from Batman, the reason these gloves are harming Gentleman Ghost is because they're from John Constantine. He gave them to Batman because John Constantine doesn't like fighting with his hands, but as Batman says, I have no such qualms. And with that, Batman continues to beat the crap out of Gentleman Ghost with these gloves before body slamming him, causing him to float away. Sometime after this, we see Batman go visit Hutchinson, aka Knight, at Tower Hospital in London. After some small talk and her asking Batman if he's met Amina, the new Squire, they get down to business, but not before Knight asks, did you impress the hell out of Squire? Batman says, I don't know what you're talking about. Hutchinson replies, oh, come on. He then looks at her with a grin saying, I punched a ghost. To which Hutchinson says, there it is. Anyway, after this, they start talking about the plane crash, and Hutchinson tells Batman, they said it was about you and equilibrium. Do you know what that means? Batman replies, I have a suspicion and I hope I'm wrong. I'll know for certain shortly when the computer has finished cross-referencing the passenger list with other data. But wouldn't you know it, more crazies in white Batman costumes, aka Equilibrium, show up in the hospital with guns looking to kill Hutchinson. But this just pisses Batman off, saying, I have no mercy for anyone who would attack a hospital, as he tackles all four men out of the fourth-story window, using them to break his fall. This leads to an awesome, very Dark Knight Returns feeling fight between Batman and Equilibrium. While fighting them, Batman says to himself, they're well trained and I'm not as fast as I once was. And I'm injured. So I need to be more efficient. I need to hit harder and make every hit count. I need to take the fight out of them. I need to put them down. But as he's about to do just that, backup arrives via a boat, saving all but one of the Equilibrium members, as Batman is able to use his grappling hook to catch one of them. Shortly after this, Batman returns to Hutchinson's hospital room saying, they're gone. Squire tells Batman, you look terrible. And he says, I'm fine. She replies, you don't look fine. You look like you need a hospital. Hey, look at that. We're standing in one. That's convenient. Squire then asks, what's on the end of the cable you're holding? Batman tells her, answers, I hope, as we see one of the Equilibrium members hanging out the window. Batman then goes back to check his back computer in the suitcase and says, it was engineered. All the passengers aboard the Gotham to London flight from all over the world. Every one of them had been rescued by Batman. Someone is taking the lives I've saved, as the comic ends. Which is a pretty crazy plot. Luckily for us, we don't have to end on that cliffhanger. We get to dive right into issue 2. Issue 2 opens up with Batman hanging the criminal from the last issue off the London clock tower, saying criminals are a cowardly lot. Of course, they are slightly more cowardly if you scare the hell out of them, while he continues to dangle the criminal off the London clock tower. Batman then tells the man, stop screaming, Matthew. Who are you working for? Tell me. Matthew answers, I don't know. Please, I'm not lying. I don't want to die. Batman then says, then tell me what you do know. The man tells him, she wears a mask. She pays well. Batman then says, stop struggling. The cable's only weighted to 200 pounds. At which point the cable snaps, but Batman uses his grappling hook to catch Matt right before he hits the ground. Then Matt gets up and runs away. Squire then tells Batman, hey, your guy's getting away. Batman tells her, that's the idea. We'll get more answers from him this way. I have a tracker on him. Batman then takes Squire to the Batmobile, asking, how old are you? She says 14. He then tells her, shouldn't you be at home? Once in the Batmobile, Squire asks, did you have this car in England already? Batman tells her, I have cars in most major cities. Why do you stay with Beryl? She tells him, I was with a foster family. They were lacking as human beings. Let's just say they were the perfect balance of cruel and neglect. Then one day, Beryl showed up at the house to rescue me, I guess. Batman just looks at her curiously saying, why you? She then looks back at him saying, judgmental much? Why not me? A little bit after this, we see Batman has taken Hutchinson to a secret underground hospital, where we see he's questioning her about Amina, aka Squire. She tells Batman, I chose her to be the new Squire because she's talented, and she was hurting Bruce. He then looks at her with his arms crossed saying, there's something you're not telling me. With her replying, you think? You want to dangle me from a giant clock tower for information? So Bruce, being so curious and thinking that something's fishy, is alluding to us, the reader, that there's probably going to be a plot twist involving Beryl and Amina at some point during this series. Anyway, after Batman's brief interrogation to his friend Hutchinson, he tells her, the people trying to kill you, they won't find you here, and I intend to shut the killers down before you're out. Our man is on the move. He's heading west from King's Cross, and he's moving fast. We are then taken to Matt, the man Batman caught, and put a tracker on, where their leader Tristessa is asking him, you expect me to believe you escaped from Batman? He tells her, it wasn't easy. I almost died. If Batman didn't catch me, I would have. She then interrupts saying, strip him down, as they tear off his clothes looking for any tracker Batman may have planted on him. Matthew is sure he doesn't have one on him as he's changed his clothes and already taken a shower. But when Tristessa puts X-ray goggles on, she sees that Batman planted one inside of his chest. She then tells her men, scrub the site, destroy anything that can't be carried. We move to Rendezvous B in 3 minutes. Tristessa then tells Matt, you're not coming with us. She then says, you almost died. He answers, yes. She then asks, but Batman saved you? He says, yes. I mean, no, as she points a gun at his face saying, you shouldn't exist, and then pulls the trigger. Meanwhile, we see Bruce in a train car making his way to Paris, but he senses that someone is following him, so he climbs out of the train car window and onto the roof trying to follow this mystery person. The chase eventually ends inside of another train car where we find out this mystery person is Henry Ducard. If you don't know who Henry Ducard is, he's a highly skilled assassin wanted in many countries, and is known as the best manhunter on Earth. In fact, Bruce even says he taught him almost everything he knows. And while Henry is about to say, well, hello, Batman, Bruce jumps towards him, covering his mouth to not say who he is out loud. The two then start talking, and Henry tells Bruce, I've been tracking you ever since you came to England. I know why you're here, and I'll help you find the people you're looking for. It's kind of what I do, Bruce. But Bruce says, no, I do this alone. Henry then tells him, that's why you're not as good as me, because you think you have to do it all by yourself. In the end, Henry basically is like, yeah, I'm gonna help you whether you like it or not. So come find me tonight as a friend, but also bring a lot of money. Bruce then asks, where are you staying? And he replies, you want me to just tell you? Where's the fun in that? A little bit after this, Batman finally goes to where his tracker is, and he finds Matthew dead at the bottom of the stairs. He then does some investigation around the place, realizing that whoever was here upped and moved on. Meanwhile, we see that Henry Ducard has been tracked down by the head of Equilibrium, their evil Batwoman, Tristessa. She tells him, you've been digging deep, Ducard. Also, you were once saved by Batman, which means you shouldn't exist. Henry then says, you were always a bit unstable, but this is all kinds of messed up. I know what happened. What you're doing won't help. She tells him it's about equilibrium. He then says, while smoking a cigar, if you say so. He then starts attacking her and the other Equilibrium members that show up, but ultimately he's shot in the chest by her as they throw him off the balcony. And as he's falling, she says, he's too busy saving you to catch us, as Batman swoops in catching Henry before he hits the floor, with Tristessa following up her sentence saying he always saves them, as she gets away. And with that, the issue ends. And that, my friends, is the first 2 issues of Batman the Detective. I think this is a great start to this miniseries. I really like the idea of this villain tracking down everyone Batman has saved to kill them. Basically saying saving their lives was pointless, as I'm just gonna kill them anyway. It's also nice to see Batman fight crime outside of Gotham. So this is yet another Tom Taylor series I'm really digging, and curious to see where it leads. But what are your guys' thoughts? Let us know down in the comments. And before we go, we do want to thank Displate for sponsoring today's episode. They have amazing comic art, and if you click the link in our description, you'll get an awesome discount. And just like that, that brings today's episode of Variant to a close. But if you enjoyed today's video, be sure to check out this one right here. And if you like all of our content, be sure to subscribe, like, and comment. It always helps the channel out. But other than that, I'll see you guys next time when I talk about all things comics.